this. Is there anything you want the fans to know or any last thing you want to say to them before we get to see this series tonight?
This is where the fun begins.
Initiating system.
Warning. Warning.
Initiating system.
Warning. Warning.
Initiating system 1. System 1 loaded.
And now for our feature presentation.
Hey everyone, Jedi Mike 7 here, and I'm back with another video. And today I have a special guest. I have the real Mike Entertainment, man. How you doing, man?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me on here.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, yeah. Just for those you guys don't know, and Mike Entertainment, he's also another content creator as well. Flowing on YouTube, on Instagram, and TikTok as well. I put his link into all of his platforms down in the description box below. And but yeah, y'all, this is gonna be our review. Shout out to Marcus in the building, y'all. Basically, it's gonna be not like a long show or anything. We're just gonna be talking about Blue Beetle, but also just talking about also this being the future of DC universe with this character, because aside from previous stuff, we know that this character will be continuing. But yeah, Mike, I just want to say, just first, before you even get into the movie, just when you hear about Blue Beetle coming out and stuff, like, what was just your first initial reactions?
Okay, so when I first heard about the movie, I didn't even know who like the guy was. I knew the actor, but I didn't know like his history, the comics, any of that. But then as like the years went on, I did my research. I watched like the videos, and now I'm just like fully up on the date of like the history, his past, and like all that stuff. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because for me, I was very familiar with Blue Beetle just because like I used to watch Young Justice when I was younger. By the way, how old are you?
I am almost 15.
You're 15. Yeah, so I forgot when Young Justice came out. I was in middle school right before I was about to get in high school, so I was around maybe 14 or so. So around your age when I saw Young Justice season 1 to 2 before they had like the massive, they canceled the show and they brought it back years later for like season 3 and 4. But yeah, Blue Beetle was a predominant character, and for those who don't know, like Young Justice season 2, that whole season is a Blue Beetle arc. With him going to where the actual Scarab is coming from, with the Reach, the actual alien species coming in Earth, focusing on Jaime Reyes, and his Very different origin from what you've seen in the film. And once we know we're going to get into the film, my first initial reaction to the trailers, I'll be honest with you, I did not like any of the trailers. Like I was getting like this type of like Spy Kids feel, like at least with the first
Yeah.
one. The second one, I was like, okay, it looks good, decent, but I'm like, all right, hopefully this will be good because I love Sholo Maraduena. Him in Cobra Kai. He's a very
Yeah.
great character in that, and also just him as an actor too. Just love to see in more leading roles and everything. But yeah, I think Young Justice came out 2012. Yeah, so I was 14. I was 14. So yeah, but yeah, that's like all you need to know about Blue Beetle before you even read comics. Literally, just go watch Young Justice season 2 if you really want to
Yeah.
get fully immersed with it. Because yeah, but I was not expecting this movie to be good at all. But then after watching this and we get into it, when I saw it, I literally think this is probably one of the best DC movies I've seen since Matt Reeves' The Batman, in my personal
Yeah.
opinion.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, because and to me, I have my friend Jorge, who I work as also a movie critic for another platform called Team JVS Media
Yeah.
Production. Then like Jorge is also another reviewer on there, and he's Latino, and and he's married, has kids, and everything. I was sitting with him watching it, and I was getting emotional, but I was just getting emotional for him because like I remember when Black Panther came out and everything, just very predominant and stuff, but just seeing not only that this is just a Latino character, it was just a good story of of
Yeah.
culture and everything. Did my mic cut off? You hear me?
Oh yeah. Very good. Very
Okay,
good.
cool. Yeah, when I saw him laughing and everything, I was just like, and they're doing a lot of making a lot of jokes in Spanish, but they didn't translate it. But everyone else in the theater I went and saw it was laughing. I was like, hey,
Yeah.
hey,
Same.
like so
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, man, I was really happy when it came out of this film. It was a surprise. I was not expecting to be good, or at least just like be decent. I was expecting to be horrible, but just like, yeah, but literally after watching this film, I teared up because this is what the DC universe is supposed to be.
Yes.
And, the heart, the not only just the family aspect, but also going to legacy. Like this is not the first Blue Beetle. There's two others that,
Yeah.
that came out before, and then we don't have to briefly explain it, but the fact that history is there is something for this character to stand on, right? And that's something that when I was a kid watching Justice League Unlimited, watching Teen Titans, especially Justice League Unlimited, there was a bunch of characters that popped up I didn't even know. But then when I got older and I watched, the CW, The Flash, and then seeing all these random characters pop up, I'm like, wait, I know that character. Yeah, that's from when
Yeah.
I was a kid. Yeah, that's Shade from the Injustice episode, or hey, that's Grodd. Stuff like that, right? But this film surprisingly came into, and also I have my friend Marcus too, also part of the Latino community as well. I'm just like, listen, I'm really upset the fact that this movie was not marketed to the best of its ability because of the current state in Hollywood right now. But yeah, man, I'm just saying overall, my just first impressions walking out of the theater before we get in detail with it. This to me, this is what the DC universe is supposed to be. But Mike, what do you have to say?
Yeah, like for almost 10 years, we have known Marvel to be like a mix of like Marvel has like some serious projects, some happy projects, but for the DC universe, for the past like 9, 8 years, has been just like the dark stuff, And with this movie, it's finally getting to the more like happier family, more friendly side, which is what it always should be, Like not everything from the DC universe has to be so dark and just violent. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that it was a great change of pace for these movies, and yeah, I thought it was great.
And I know the word you're looking for was hope. Like it
Oh,
gave
yeah.
hope. This film gave hope, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
much as when we get into Superman Legacy, which when you talk with James Gunn's talking about like he wanted to refine his character and say, listen, who was true to character Superman, but also someone that represents hope. We understand what the symbol means. We need to know what the character is and how the
Yes.
tone of the movie is portrayed. But this film, like, and we get into the beginning of it where it starts off with, for one, first, you've seen a little bit history of, of the scarab, coming
Yeah.
in Earth. But then there was a quick shot. If you didn't see, there was multiple scarabs that was going in different planets,
Yeah.
different colors, which goes into, if you watch Young Justice, there's multiple different color beetles out there.
Yeah.
There's a black beetle, there's a green beetle. There's other beetles and stuff in the comics too. So it was almost like a Green Lantern type of feel for that.
Yeah.
But definitely there was a quick shot of that this scarab is definitely what's going on. There's different types of scarabs on different planets though.
Yeah.
But yeah, we see as landed, we see the villain of the movie, which is Ted Core sister, who basically find this scarab and everything, and then you meet the villain, what's his name, Apex or
Carapax.
Carapax, yeah. So yeah, he's basically a henchman for her, and basically they're just trying to find this scarab and stuff. And then we see transition to Jaime Reyes as he's coming out of college and not seeing with family, which is a human story because I just graduated college, so I understand, again, like, family welcoming you back and stuff, but then all of a sudden life problems presents itself. Say, hey, we're about to lose the house. And dad's had a heart attack, but I'm okay. So and I think some of the comparisons they were making about saying that, Blue Beetle's like Spider-Man, I didn't really agree with that. But on to Spider-Man's point of view, having a character that experienced real world problems at a young age, that's something I can see relates to Jaime Reyes in this film. How do you feel with how this film started? We get into more just introducing to the family, the sister, and everything.
So like that was probably the best part of the film for me because family is such like a big thing, and it was just shown in such like a great way. Like I loved like the grandma, the sister, just all of them, and spoilers, but once the dad died, that hit the feels, like it was sad, but I just loved how this movie was like so much about family and how like family is everything, and I also like how in many like superhero stories, the family, their friends don't know who they actually are, but in this film, they know who he is from the very start, So,
yeah, right, yeah. And with this, there's different family dynamics. I want to, now shout out some highlights. Definitely the one big one is Uncle Rudy, played by George Lopez.
Yes, yeah.
And regardless of race or culture, whatever, we all have a Uncle Rudy out there that is a conspiracy theorist or thinking about the government and everything like that. Like to me, that's my father, so I relate to it. So and again, based on the trailers, like I was not expecting me to be more attached to some of these family members, much. But again, going to my friend Jorge is that the how after the movie ended, how he explained how certain roles that the family members played, especially the grandmother at the end. It was like definitely was the rock of the family and during a very dark time. And yes, you can say for movie purposes it got over exaggerated and stuff, but on an emotional level, that the grandmother represented, the backbone of that family, which, and you definitely, expanded families or any type of family, that's really close knit. You have either grandfather, grandmother, that is just the rock of that family and everything. And, they're all living in the same house and stuff. But it's just, again, like I really have not seen that before, at least recently, in a way that they displayed it because I don't think we really, aside from Black Panther, I'm trying to think. Black Panther, I guess. I mean, only Spider-Man with Aunt May. In terms of a character that the family has been wrapped up in the character's origin.
Oh yeah. Not Batman because like his parents are dead. I guess like. Yeah, no, not really. I don't know, but yeah.
You're right, because like it's not like I was trying to think like definitely Black Panther because of royalty and all that stuff, but but with this movie, like on a civilian level, like the family just wrapped up from start to finish, no secret
Yeah.
identity, nothing, no, like, hey, if anything, they're the one that got him in that situation because they say, hey, open
Yeah.
it, you know. So
Yeah.
I just didn't felt like I was just trying to. I was like, doing my notes for this film. I was like, oh yeah, and yes, Shazam. Thanks, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And also shout out
That's
to
great.
Multiverse of Color. I hope I'm gonna make sure I'm pronouncing it right. But you and Vanessa met you guys in Comic Con. Very good content creators, and also in the movie critic space and everything. And yeah, he just saw his movie today, and I reposted on my Instagram. But yeah, man, this the same feelings I was feeling. This movie was very emotional and surprisingly good, like really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, him, I think, yeah, it's you have the family wrapped into it. But this is why I also want to go into more about, again, the hope aspect, because whether you have family or anything, it's like this was a feel good movie. What real life situations happen to them aside from the supernatural, and how they're responding to it in a way that in this world I feel like we've lost.
Yes.
And that to me what really touched me with this film. And like but as we get into more in the story, we get introduced to Ray, Jaime had to basically get a job, and his sister basically get a job in cleaning Ted Core sister's apartment complex, whatever, condo,
Yeah.
whatever. And then that's what we get introduced to, basically the daughter of Ted Core, which is, I believe, let me get the notes here. Where's the cast here? Jenny Cord,
Yes.
and which, by the way, for nerds, I think I found an Easter egg, of terms of her lineage, and then I think that if they go this route, this literally that little be cool, but I'll go into but Jenny Cord, that's the daughter of Ted Cord, who is the second Blue Beetle, but the more mainstream Silver Age Blue Beetle, is missing for some reason, and basically now the sisters running the corporation, and they're trying to do the stereotypical Obadiah Stane Stark Industries want to weaponize
Yeah.
this, this technology and everything like that for mass product instead of using it for the greater good. So, but then Jaime's wrapped in it. He gets fired, and the Jenny Cord basically say, "Hey, listen, come to the building, whatever, and I can come try to get you a job, whatever, right?" And then we get wrapped in this situation where she's trying to steal the scarab, and then as she's getting yes, I'm jumping to you jumping. Yeah, you think what I'm thinking too. I'm getting to it. Yes, she's a Brazilian, which is why. Yeah, I'm thinking that she's related to another Justice League hero. We'll get
Oh.
into it. Yeah, and Mike, he's gonna make a TikTok about it tomorrow. But yeah, so going into it, basically gets take this scarab that's wrapped in a big belly burger box, which you can see that from the Flash and everything. Go home,
Yeah.
and then the family opens it up, and the scarab is basically consuming, Jaime in a very, very graphic way. That I don't
Yes.
think that, for people saying for children, that is very scene for you guys to look at, because like it really is, more type of gory alien, type vibe,
Yeah.
vibe and everything. But then we get into the whole, like, he gets thrown into a situation trying to find and manage his abilities and stuff like that. And while the tech core industry is actually trying to hunt this person down along with Jenny Cord as well. But how do you feel in terms, again, with now just on a visual perspective with Blue Beetle, as in terms of costume, practical suit, but seeing his abilities and everything? How do you feel in terms of like when you were watching it for the first time, just like, okay, that there's just this character being thrown into a situation which we've seen several times before, like
Yeah.
Spider-Man Homecoming, whatever. But again, just as this is a practical suit, you're like, the only really CGI of this was really just terms of when they're transitioning to different weapons. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought that like the suit and just like I love how this movie just feels so real and not like a big like CGI thing, because like it's very much real stunts, real suits, real like things like back here, I think. But like just I think that the route that they took for a smaller budget film was the right way to go because, as we've seen, it looks great. Like the suit looks just so incredible, and I love the action of the movie. I said in my review that it's that the movie's action was one of, if not my favorite, like pieces of action in a superhero movie in a very long time. So yeah, I thought it was great.
Yeah, because what I liked, unless we can get into the third act, like and everything, like the action choreography of this film, you see one of my biggest complaints in a lot of the comic movies is the fact you don't really see a lot of action, even to the extent
Yeah,
the first Black Panther, like the you didn't really see any of the choreography. And to a point
yeah,
where it's like, yes, you see all the shaky cam and everything, but you actually are watching the combat and seeing, and you're feeling every punch, but also you're seeing just the combos, and much of this character's influence was based off of Injustice 2, which I played.
yeah,
So
yeah,
which
same.
seeing the movements in his character and everything, like yeah, that's basically his final move and special move and stuff. I've seen it before,
Yeah,
and it's basically textbook. But as we get into it, midway through the film, then we get into my favorite part of it was the legacy aspect of it, because we see after they had this first interaction with the villain, I keep pronouncing Conrad or
kind of.
Carapax, whatever that's his
Yeah,
name, and that it goes home to the mansion, that abandoned Ted Core mansion, and then you basically have his own back cave down on the third floor, and it's basically his Beetle cave or something like that, right? So you have Ted Core's Blue Beetle's suit, but you also have the original Blue Beetle too as well,
yeah,
right next to him, and you see all different Blue Beetle gadgets, the ship and different types of technology, because in the comics, the first one thing they mentioned was that the Blue Beetle, like the Green Lantern ring, it chooses you. And
yeah,
in the comics, it choose the first Blue Beetle, but then choose Ted Core. So what Ted Core, he had to basically create technology around
yeah,
of Blue Beetle, and hence him being more of a tech based character than really of a like Jaime in this case, that from Alien Origin and stuff. So but again, I just love the fact that yes, he's missing, but Uncle Rudy was talking about, yeah, man, yeah, he was on TV when you were a kid, yeah, Blue Beetle and
yeah,
stuff like that. And to me, that's what I like in terms of you're establishing the universe beyond instead of being self-contained. Regardless, this has to be a big budget movie or gotta be put in a Justice League movie. It's just something that said, hey, listen, there's been legacy here, and
yeah,
with this, character be continuing in the James Gunn with the Superman legacy, we know that there's already characters, heroes before Superman arrives. Like we have a
yeah,
the was it now the fourth Green Lantern, Guy Gardner in there. We have
yeah,
the second Hawk Girl, got Mr. Terrific. We already have heroes that have been in this world before Superman and everything, and we got mentionings of Flash and stuff like that. But just
yeah,
that line of there, just establishing the universe and see Uncle Rudy like saying, yeah, man, they've been around for years and stuff. When and again, it just kind of given to that legacy part, which I feel that we've been missing in DC for so long.
yeah.
Yeah, so like hold on, sorry, I thought your screen was breaking up. But yeah, it's
Oh,
like I really one thing I really kind of wanted them to dive deeper into was more again what the relationship between Ted Core sister and the family, because they to mention it briefly, but again, it's kind of like the words like some messages in the film where the that they're talking about, well, yeah, there's family legacy being passed down and being not given to Ted Core sister but himself, whatever, and you can
yeah,
say might have been some like either some sexist ideology there or whatever, but again, you can definitely see that type of portrayal because she does play a very vindictive villain. um but
yeah,
yeah, but I wish she can be more fleshed out, because I think when I see people's criticisms on the movie, I think that Ted Core's sister really was the one. Like, yeah, they really just didn't like her at all. But what did you
yeah.
think about it, Mike?
I thought that, I mean, she was there, but in terms of her as a villain, I thought that she could have been a bit more, because like all she did was like just speak to like the other villain, like the one guy in the lab, just like the family kind of, and then she just gets thrown like into the fire, like that was it. So I wish that we might, or I wish that we got to like know more of her. I mean, obviously she's the sister of the second Blue Beetle, but yeah, I mean, she was just kind of like weak, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was the only thing because I think the big also another criticism with a lot of people from this film is just like yeah you see different tropes that you've seen in superhero
Oh
content
yeah,
before but here's the thing like and I want to know how you feel about this because it's definitely a lot of controversy and people going on it bashing it and everything like that regardless it being
yeah,
one of the highest rated DC movies since I think was it what was it 90% was the James Gunn Suicide Squad and Peacemaker.
yeah,
So again, regardless how much is movie making, which we already know the climate now, I think the reason that if this film came out maybe a couple of years ago, I think really we'll be having this conversation because I mentioned this to all my friends about this, the whole trope about superhero fatigue. But
yeah,
to me, what I felt this film was a breath of fresh air was that okay, I've
yeah,
seen this trope before. Yes, this looks like Iron Man, or like like the first Iron Man movie. Or yes, his relation with the suit is like a Venom or Spider-Man Homecoming, whatever. But the way they did it with to me felt organic, felt fresh in my personal opinion.
yeah.
But I don't know how you felt with it. Like
Yeah, because like as I saw the movie, I was like, okay, that was from this, and that was from that, but like as you said, like the way that they do it is just so new, and it didn't feel like it was the same thing that we've already seen. I mean, yeah, they kind of like used it in like some way, but just because the movie itself feels so new. The things that they used also felt so new, and just it worked in the story, because like you could have other um like things that you've used from other films into yours and make it not work, but they made it work and they made it work so well, and that's why it's so good.
yeah, because again, it's like to me, I think there's a fatigue not of superheroes, but just mediocre,
Yeah,
writing and storytelling. Because again, like I said, I was not a fan of the trailers, but then
yeah,
it got to the point after we get to really I think after they get into the mansion and everything and find out that the core industries found their parents' home and everything. That's when the film took a turn for emotionally and everything, and they go attack the family and basically it was a trap to get Jaime, away from him. But then by doing that, the family's fleeing, but also the father had a cardiac arrest and he passed away.
yeah,
And um, and then even that scene, even culturally, let's go in there. Families being removed from them, from their other family members for them being deported or something like that, and
yeah,
that him literally being dragged away while his dad
yeah,
is laying there, right?
yeah.
And like, like
Their
again,
house
like
too.
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah, their house being like,
the house burning and just like and all
yeah,
those things, right? It just like again, it just those moments is like feel like okay, culturally, I feel like that was more compelling if you did that. I mean, in a different story in a context, whatever. Because like yeah, we've seen just like homes probably being been destroyed and stuff like that because of a battle or whatever. But this was just
yeah,
really different. I haven't really like seen before in a superhero story, which I'm like, man, it's like and I know this existed, but it's just like I just didn't really have experience in like film in terms of superhero genre before, and that to me I felt
mhm,
was a breath of fresh air. But then with that, that was when the family members really took up and really shout to the grandma on this. Is like, yo, we don't want to cry yet, we cry later.
yeah.
And that reminded me of moments with my family members too. So I don't know, how did you feel with that? Just that moment, just taking just a shift tonally, but really just emotionally, the characters just kind of just grew in that scene.
Yeah, I mean, like, every hero has like that shift, like in their story. And, in a lot of films, like the family members, like they die, like uh, Spider-Man's uncle, that's like a thing too. But, I don't know, it just felt so different the way that they were making it. And I mean, like for some people, um, stuff like this actually happened, and it's not right, obviously, but like, and then just like the way that like they did it in the film, just it like reminded me and like other people that these things happen, and just like yeah, and this is
Yeah,
like a real thing.
yeah, and again, it's just like I'm watching certain reviews, the people online, whatever. I think, and just my, I understand, no, film is subjective and art is subjective, which is why, like, I'm not coming and just kind of like, oh yeah, these, type of reviewers or whatever. But I honestly felt like, we're seeing two different films because, like,
Yeah,
some people I'm saying, I was hearing like, yeah, I just couldn't wait for this to be over. I'm like, but then other folks is just like, I'm seeing breaking down, tearing up, and I'm like seeing next to Jorge, and like he just like is tearing up, especially with that scene later we get to with him talking to his father, and
yeah,
and again it's like, yeah, that's something that my dad said to me. That's what he was telling me, and I was like, yeah, man, and I was just like, and it's like, because I wasn't trying to, I guess, like, again, I wasn't expecting this film to be good at all. So when part I was tearing up, I was like, no, this film is not making me freaking tear up, man. This is not. And then
yeah,
it's just like
yeah,
there was just one beautiful shot when Jaime is captured and trying to transfer the Blue Beetle code, into to a Conrad and everything, right?
yeah,
That he sees his father, but then back behind him is just the sea of candles
yes,
and everything. And
yeah,
I was like, yo, like that's and like, and that's in Hispanic culture, Day of the Dead and everything. Like you
yeah.
seen what was the movie with Disney?
Oh yeah,
I'm forgetting it.
oh
I'm forgetting it. You know what
yeah,
I'm talking about? Yeah,
yeah.
but like Coco. Yeah,
Coco, yeah,
yeah. That was just like, I was just seeing that and the way they were just doing that and too, and just him finally stepping to his own and reaching for the Blue Beetle though,
yeah.
because yeah, I just felt that was just really, that scene to me was really powerful. But I want to ask you that when we're getting to this point, the third act of the film, how did you
Mhm.
feel with the family members now getting into battle and using tech core equipment, when in reality
Yeah,
there might be the standing of disbelief there, like, really,
yeah. Uh, I feel like not everyone needed to have a role in the battle. Like obviously the sister, uh, Rudy. Like if it was just them two, then that'd be like fine. But like I didn't think that we needed to have all of them. But the film, like you can't always have a film make it feel like other things. So what this film did was have like obviously our main guy and have like his family help him fight. So I thought that it was a bit much sometimes, but I thought that it was used very well in the context of the story.
Mhm. Yeah, because this was a scene where we're seeing Jenny Cord is taking the family into Tech Core's lab and basically grabbing a piece
Yeah.
of technology to go save and rescue Jaime. And
Mhm.
then we seen them get in the Beetle ship and everything, and as they're going on and on this island and basically trying to rescue him. And this is now when we get into this close combat area. It was that moment again, the turning point of Jaime fully becoming one with the Scarab. Now,
Mhm.
and have you seen Young Justice season 2?
No.
Okay, I encourage you to do it because now there's a thing for me, just as any, and if any DC animated fan or anything, like, there's also notion out there, we're saying, and rightfully so, that some of the animated interpretations of these characters are way better than what they're portrayed in the movies. But
Yeah.
Blue Beetle, when it came out, I was really hesitant with it because I did not like the voice of the Scarab in the trailers, and I
Oh
still
yeah.
don't, but I
Yeah.
accept it. And the reason why is because I remember in Young Justice, and the voice in his head, is a planet, is a device to destroy planets and everything, right? So you were a teenager and you are a Mexican immigrant, and you
Mhm.
basically have this voice in your head saying "kill everybody," right? And the sinister thing saying, hey, should we, do deadly force, whatever. And sometimes not even asking him, I'm just gonna no, we just need to kill this person now. And he's trying to fight back from himself. Similar to like with Cyborg, in a way where
Yeah.
in the Snyder cut, I feel like he did a better job fleshing Cyborg out with that. But yeah, no, like that to me, I was like, okay, the voice of like the Scarab, like you miss a very emotional part of his character, and then also with his family, because his family in the show, he has a very abusive relationship with his dad, like dad not treating him right, whatever. Like
Oh, really?
they're very poor and it's very dark. He's very like a more jaded character, but this is more
Oh,
lighthearted in a way. But then
yeah.
here's the thing. I actually am okay with it now after watching this movie. I'm like, you know what? We don't need that.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
we, and again, it just goes to that point of like we don't need like you can give a more emotional story instead of it going to a more darker representation of this character, and also and away from being also stereotypical too. Like
Yeah.
because yes, they made a few comments that the parents were didn't have their papers or whatever, but that's no here or there, and that was it. That
Yeah.
yeah, so I wasn't really like bothered. I didn't feel they were beating you over the head with that and stuff, but yeah, I just to me, uh, you have to see. I encourage you to go see the animated the show. The entire season of Young Justice season 2 is a whole start to finish Blue Beetle arc. And include multiple
Wow.
different Beetles and the Reach, the
Oh,
alien race, and everything.
yeah.
The whole or Young Justice team and Justice League. It's
Yeah.
everybody. But no, everything you need to know about Blue Beetle that's in there. But yeah, I was kind of like more bound to that interpretation of that character. And even though I didn't get it, I'm okay I didn't get it after watching this
Yeah.
movie. So yeah, so when we get into actually the third act now, Jaime is now fused and now one with the Scarab. Uh the Carapax is now full or Conrad is basically fully got the Blue Beetle code and everything. Now his suit is more like Blue Beetle in terms of it being the force, blades and everything like that, right? But then there was a whole moment with this doctor. His name was Dr. Sanchez, right? Because
Yeah.
and the whole film, Victoria Cord, that's Ted Cord's sister,
Yeah.
basically was making these jokes about, hey, I don't know what your name is,
Yeah.
and then he had a moment which reminded me, and I know you're young, but have you seen a show called Sweet Life of Zack and Cody?
No,
No? Okay. Man,
I haven't.
I'm getting there. I think it's the beard. I think it's like the beard's the age gap. But anyway, yeah, this show called Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. It's a character called Esteban. He's the butler. And every time he says his name, he says his name is Esteban, who will go like I can't say the whole language, but he has like three or
Yeah.
four last names, Gamirez,
Yeah.
and stuff. And it just reminded me of that moment when he said, my name is this, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
Sanchez, and but yeah, that just reminded me of Esteban from Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Any y'all know that reference points to you. But yeah, because and we get to there now. It's like almost a tunnel chase. We know everyone and is in this closed combat area at the try. And Jaime is now like not really that powerful yet because he's still been drained. But then as he get into reunites with a few of his family members, his sister and Jenny is still in there. And there was a moment with the mother that was saying, "Listen, now I wasn't only talking to Jaime, was talking to the Beetle as well." Saying about motivating him to basically, hey, no, better do this and stuff like that. So, and I don't know how you felt with it, but that's when the action really was the highlight of the movie in that moment for me.
Yeah.
Like when they get into that. So yeah, so like, how would you feel in terms of what we already see with combat in comic movies now, but like what they did here that you liked?
Yeah, like a lot of like fight scenes and just like the action overall and like movies now isn't the same that it was. Like it's very like CGI, like The Flash, that was out in June. That was very CGI. And yeah, so I felt like it was a change of pace, like it's more practical, like the suit, the action, it's all practical. And that is one of like the biggest things that I love about it. It's because it's a change of pace. Like the whole movie is just a change of pace for movies overall, you know. And yeah, so the action was just so great. They used some of like the fighting styles from the game, which I have played, so I was like, oh yeah. And then it was just so cool. Yeah, they're like the sword that he used, all of the weapons that he had were just so amazing. And yeah, that was great.
Yeah, because for me, and this is and here, this is when for someone who has a view like, listen, I'm open for anything while I'm watching this movie. When it gets to action, I'm loving it and stuff. But it's when there's moments in the trailers that I already seen that I was like, okay, it looks right, whatever. But then after everything in the movie, and then I get into the action scene, and then that shot, I seen the trailer hit with the blade and stuff. Now I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. You know,
Yeah,
it's like I wasn't feeling that when I was watching the trailers, but now in the movie, I was like, yo, this is so like I haven't experienced that in the movie before, like at least recently, where I'm like, I've seen this shot in the trailer, but now it's like this is not what I wasn't anticipating. I didn't like it when I first saw it, but now I'm watching the movie like, yeah, I love
yeah,
this scene because it was where when he had that fight with Conrad,
hmm
like it felt very Obadiah Stane, Iron Man,
yeah,
you know. But here's not saying what if it's not broke, don't fix it, but it's like the same heart and that the Iron Man with the Ironmonger back in 2008 is this what
mhm,
was different from here is that yes, people of the same power abilities fighting each other, but here it was different just because like, okay, one, he thought he lost his father, and then he thought he
yeah,
lost Cody, right? And that
yeah,
was the scene where it's like you feeling got that power like Super Saiyan moment, but again, then it's like some of the moves they were doing, it was also just seem more just brutal, and that especially
yeah.
with with the Blue Beetle scarab and everything. But I was feeling every punch, but I was just I was getting emotional in it, and
Yeah.
yeah, I were feeling through that.
Um, yeah, because like the fight just felt very more personal, because like as you said in the first the Iron Man movie, it's just a guy who's rich made a suit, and then he's fighting the other guy who's rich and has a suit, And in this movie, it's just like a kid who just got out of college and now he has like these powers and the suit, and he's not sure if he wants it. And like he lost his dad, he's not sure if he'll win at this battle. So it's a very more personal battle, like it's like he's not fighting for him, he's fighting for everyone, so that's what I love about it.
Right. Yeah, because and to me, again, where it's like the family aspect was motivating him in that scene, but uh it felt to me again it's like in that moment was where I was feeling the heart of the DC universe, and I don't want
Yeah,
to try to be overly like exaggerated with it. But what I mean by that is like when I'm seeing these fights back when I was a kid, watching these um fight scenes with when you first see Superman Batman fight for the first time, that's over years of just knowing them as friends, right? So when
yeah,
when those moments happen, it's like, oh my god, right? Or moments where you see the just like or just simple conversation with like Green Lantern in a Flash, Wally West, whatever. When those small moments when you see Green Arrow with Black Canary. And
yeah,
them fighting and they're talking and everything. So I'm seeing this with Blue Beetle. It's like, yeah, I'm remembering this just from the the Young Justice cartoons because it had that heart. He was in the show. He was trying to save his friend who was going
yeah,
into it was they call it meta human trafficking. Not to give the spoiler away, whatever, but yeah, they're just dealing with they're stealing people to mutate on them and become metahumans.
yeah,
Was Jaime Reyes' friend, right? So it's like again, still have the same heart of it where you're trying to save somebody, but again, it's a background. This is a friend or family member of mine, and then
yeah,
that to me, I felt again it was just missing in a few of these films for me. It's just like
yeah,
it's just the heart, and yeah, and I was just like kind of just hoping that they know when James Gunn look at this movie, aside from the financial set or of this movie that he uses his tone. And I don't know
Yes.
which ask you, like, how do you feel with the tone, how they from beginning of this film to the end, we're going to the first and third act of this film, how
Yeah.
they managed the tone, and how would you like to see it move forward?
Yeah, so I thought that the tone was good. I mean, it was a bit over the top funny at like some points, but like overall, if the tone stays the same within like the future like films, then I think that we're in a very like safe space, you know? Um,
Right.
but yeah, so as for like the future films and shows, I feel like you can have projects like this that are lighthearted and funny, but you can also have ones that are more serious. And that is what they have been not doing well in like the old universe. Like it was just felt all dark and moody, you know. Like there was like one project or like one or two that was like this movie, you know. But like with this film and like the rest of the new like things and like movies, um yeah, I hope that the tone stays the same and it also has a mix of, you know, happy, dark, like normal, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask you about the moment where after Jaime is about to go for the kill with
Yeah.
for a Conrad, then the Scarab is saying, "No, I've analyzed his history," and he basically get a flashback of the villain's origin. So, like, how did you
Yeah.
feel with that when that shift of like this is not no mindless henchman? You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, because like think back to all the other villains in like superhero movies. They just want to be like the most evil guy like in the whole like world, you know? And this guy was kind of, but like you knew his past, you know? Like you knew that he was just a kid um who at like a very young age watched his mom die and like his home just get like blown up, you know. And then he was trained to become a soldier. And not many movies show the villain having like the shift to become like the evil villain. You know, like most villains are just like always evil, but with this guy, he was just a normal kid who had that shift from the bad guys that made him bad. So I liked how it was uh, um, a very personal story, just like it was for Jaime. You know, like they're very like similar in a way.
yeah, because if you take this, like, I'm about to put a shot right here. Like, in the comics, we already see many different iconic villains, for DC. As you see here, we got Lex Luthor,
Yeah,
Joker, Brainiac, but then you see Conrad in the corner there. And yeah,
yeah,
and Conrad is not meant to be really a more iconic villain or anything, but yet
mhm.
we've seen that type of archetype. Like, these are the top of the total pole when it comes to DC. But I'm okay that it didn't have to be a memorable, like, villain where it's like, listen, like, I'm probably not gonna think about Conrad when I'm watching Superman Legacy and
Yeah,
whatever. But what he's serving the story to me, I felt, again, it gave it to a point of the villain is serving the hero story, the hero story, because there's a joke where Marvel has good heroes and DC just has some good bad guys. And instead of it being
yeah,
about,
yeah,
no, we have good heroes as well, and yet we might have good, because think about it. There's also a thing where Marvel villains are not like the things they're best known for, you know.
yeah,
So like let's just be mindful of that. So when he had this character, like, oh yeah, this is a forgettable villain, like, yes, just like other villains, the villain of the week or of that movie for Marvel, but they serve their purpose, and we're not, but
yeah,
regardless of that, going to where James Gunn was talking about, hope, and now we're getting to the age of, like, it's not black and white anymore. It's
mhm,
gray. Like, these characters
yeah,
not just mindless people who have like senseless motivation. Like, no, they're human beings too. Or some of the best villains that we know in film and media, taking comic book out of it, are the ones who think that they're the good guys, or they have something that they're fighting for, not because they just want to watch the world burn.
yeah,
I saw this one motivational speaker. He was talking about, and you probably seen this on Instagram, whatever. He made a distinction what a hero and a villain is that both a hero who is most likely orphan, something bad's happened to him in the world, and now he's been saying, "Listen, life treated me bad, so I want to make sure it doesn't happen to anybody else." Now, for a villain point of view, a villain might be orphaned as well, has a scar to share that this person is damaged and whatever. But then instead of him reacting and saying that he wants to save the world, he said, "The world hurt me, now I want to hurt it back." Right?
Yeah.
And both are both the same archetypes. They feel like they're orphaned the world and bad things has happened to them. The only difference is how they responded.
Yes.
Right. And you know, and watching this with the villain, you know, especially with what's her name? It was Victoria Cord. That was her name is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Victoria Cord. You know, taking advantage of Conrad when he was, you know, was a child. Basically, was the reason, you know, his mother died, and then the you know, in the war, and it's like foreign countries, and then abducting him, putting in military thing situation that is absolutely real that happens. But again, it's just not judging a book by its cover, which again, that's like one of the themes again of this movie too, that when he made that character change, because he was holding, you know, this little I think picture of his mother on the side throughout the movie, but you have no mention of it. And I was like, hope they you know, just didn't throw this under a bus, whatever. And they did it beautifully in my opinion. But how did you feel about, again, like just moving forward now, hopefully with villains that, you know, we see them there's not just these just black and white characters, like, you know, we're about to see Ahsoka in about less than a few hours, like in Thrawn in the books. His motivation, like, I understand why he's doing this, even in Rebels. Like, you know, Rebels is different from his character in the books though, but like you understand his motivation and see why he's doing it. To a point he becomes more relatable, not just like a mindless, you know, villain. But how did you feel with that?
So I think that, like, going forward, you should have villains that serve their purpose, you know, like if they live, if they die, make them have a purpose that whenever we look back, we don't think of them as like just, you know, mindless people who are like very, very rich, who build like suits or like machines and want to be like the rulers of Earth, you know, like make them have just like make them relatable, you know. That's what they did with the villain in this movie. They made him, you know, have like the backstory. They made him have it's like they fleshed out his arc, you know. And that's what I feel like we should now be seeing in these movies. And this movie was a great reminder to all of us that that is what we should be seeing, you know.
And you know, as we get to the end of the film and everything, and they defeated, you know, Victoria and everything like that. But as we get into them wrapping things up, you know, you see the community is now helping rebuild, you know, helping Jaime Reyes and his family in the neighborhood, trying to rebuild their home after it's been destroyed. And now my pet peeve was like, why would I move into the mansion? No one's using it.
Oh yeah. Well, well, because that was like their family house, you know, like.
But I thought we're all family now. Like she joined the hug. The abuela like told him, "Hey, come here. You're." I'm gonna say, "Hey." So because of you, Miss Jenny Cord, you're the reason why I have no home now, and I possibly would have my dad here. You know, it wasn't for you, and I wouldn't be connected to this alien device now that's gonna be with me till the day I die. So it's like, hey, I'd like to move to a mansion. At least, I forgive you for that. You know. But, you know, I just leave it down. Like, hey, there's like at least 7 characters right here. They can occupy the space. You know. But then at the end, you know, he gets Jaime gets with, you know, Jenny Cord and stuff, and the stereotypical relationship builds throughout the film, and you know, and then and he goes out, you know, being Blue Beetle. But then we have the end credit scene, which is basically going to the lab and see that the devices, you know, are turned on and stuff like that. And we see the stress call, and the stress call is coming from Ted Cord, which we know has been missing. But basically, we don't know who is. We saw some murals that was in there, but we don't actually see an actor and face, whatever. but but the voice message basically just kept repeating that Ted Core is alive. Now,
Yeah.
now again, this is I'm definitely building up to a sequel. Um, in the future, whether they'll get a sequel or not. Again, I do like how they're building off of this legacy and acknowledging that the previous Blue Beetles and now in the comics though there wasn't really a relationship between Jaime and Ted Core that much because Ted Core was actually dead. So
Yeah.
he was alone. But now it's like, hey, you know, he's coming back and help assisting Jaime in that. Cool, I'm all here for it. But now the Easter egg I want to acknowledge is that the question is where do you think we're going to see Ted Core, if not in a Blue Beetle sequel, where?
I have the answer. What?
No, go ahead, man.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I think that the most obvious choice is the Booster Gold series because we know that that is a thing in the new universe, not in the old one. And in the comics, him and not Jaime, but Ted Cord have a very strong bond. So I think that the Booster Gold make it not long show, but make it be the first half the origin of him, make him go meet Ted Cord, the same one from this universe, and then show how they get lost through time somewhere, and the rest of the show is the characters from this movie going out through the DC universe trying to go find them. So yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely believe, yeah, Blue Beetle. I hope I'm pretty sure this is gonna happen. Is that we're gonna see, either Jolo Marduena or Jaime Reyes gonna be in Booster Gold some form of fashion. Because you have to understand that in the comics that Booster Gold, yeah, and Blue Beetle were really were best friends, and
Yeah.
in history in terms of in the comics, did you see the show Smallville?
Some of it, yeah.
Okay, so another thing, yeah, because this show came out way when you were out, when you were younger. So in the early 2000s, there was I think like the later half of season, it had over 10 seasons of Smallville. But in one of the final seasons, they actually had a Booster Gold episode where he came back in time and came as his hero. But they had a Jaime Reyes character as Blue Beetle in live action. So this is not the first live action Blue Beetle we gotten. There was a Jaime Reyes in that Smallville show years ago, definitely with TV budget, and stuff like that. But then that was him establishing a bond with Jaime Reyes, which is why I have this picture right here too, because hey, there's also a way they can build off of that relationship as well. Say, hey, a little bit, maybe I know who Ted Core is, and let's go on a search hunt to go get him or something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so and then because I know Booster Gold will be a Max show, but I'm trying to find it on Smallville. Booster Gold and Blue Beetle on what is it, Smallville? Yeah, because you like back in the day, they had all these references, man, right here. Let me get it right. Boom.
Oh wow.
So some of y'all know, what I'm talking about. But this was when I was a kid. I remember that that Velcro suit, and he had Jaime Reyes in the back. And that now for TV budget, that wasn't bad. That could have been way worse. But that was yeah, but no, that's where I remember they did that. So they've done this before and they can do it again. Now all the budget they can do. But yeah, so I think that's where we're gonna be in the future. But now one last thing before we end it, I want to add another Easter egg to this is about Jenny Cord. So the actress, is I think it's Brazilian. Now Ted now here's the thing, Ted Cord had a relationship with another Justice League character.
I feel like I've heard this somewhere. but I
Yeah,
don't know
so
who it was.
you had a relationship with this character called Fire. Now, this
Yes,
woman,
yeah,
is a in a superhero duo who's called Fire and Ice, right? And let me
okay,
and you can see who Fire and Ice is on Justice League Unlimited episode season 2. I'll make sure you
okay,
guys go check that out for your references. But yeah, they this is their that's a Ted Core's Luis's girlfriend. I don't know if they ever got married in the comics though, but she's Brazilian, and I think there's. Let me get the cartoon version here. Um, but yeah, they're she's Brazilian now. Jenny Cord is also Brazilian, so I'm thinking that's probably her mother. Now she did make a comment that saying that that she died when she was there when she was younger, whatever. But again,
yeah.
if they want to make a thing like they were Justice Society members or something like that,
Oh yeah,
um, yeah, but some of y'all you remember this. Uh yeah, this was years ago, like in the cartoons and stuff like that. But I'm
yeah,
thinking that's probably who Jenny Court is related to is Fire. Now, whether those abilities pass down to her or whatever like that, we shall know whatever in the future. But yeah, I think that would be interesting to see that hey, if they have an arc where where everyone trying to come together, and let's say for example, Ted Core unfortunately passes away, then we still have Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, and we can have Fire, but won't be the original Fire, will be her daughter,
yeah,
which is Jenny Court. So, but yeah, but I want to end it off with this with you, Mike, because I know you're well into the space and everything, but as a
mm,
fan of just of comic book genre in general, is that
yeah,
based off of this film is something that you I know that you really enjoyed this film and think this was a breath of fresh air moving forward. How do you
yeah.
think that not us as fans, but really on James Gunn point that you want to see like this can be a base template in terms of how we can move the DC universe forward with other characters coming in and building that universe that I know we all love, but we need to see.
Yeah, so just make it so new that we like forget about the past, like I know that's like a very rough like statement, but like just think like I don't think that I'll think back on the past because what we need now is a fresh start. And like this movie is set into the new universe, so like the colors are vibrant. It's not like very like dark and like rainy. It's very like vibrant. Action is great. So yes, so just make it like that. Flesh out the characters and the villains. Make it a good story. Have a mix of the happy stuff, the dark stuff. Make it also make the characters show up in other projects. Um, make it feel like Marvel, where it feels like one long road. Just like starts here and it goes all the way down. For the old universe, we started somewhere, but in just some way on that road, we went just like here and here and here. And so with like this new universe, just make it just a very straight path, add in like the characters that we've always wanted to see, and make it like just the best thing that we've gotten, like make Batman not so dark and gritty, because in the comics, like in like the earlier ones, he's not that dark. Make uh Superman the staple of hope. Make him like the guy that we all want, or the guy that we all wish we were. So let's make it like that. Just make it like very hopeful, vibrant. Just make it one road universe.
Mhm. Yeah, and well said, Mike. And I think, and this is what
Yeah.
for me, because like I've grew up on it. This is my childhood, right? I grew
Yeah.
up on the Batman anime series, on Superman anime series,
Hmm.
Justice League Unlimited, Teen Titans, the Batman show, as well as going into Static Shock, going all the
Yeah.
Batman Beyond, all these shows, and also reading the comics and everything. They gave me my love of film first. Before even
Hmm.
DC, like Marvel, it was Spider-Man 2. I was always Spider-Man fan, but Spider-Man 2 when I was a
Yeah.
kid, when I was like I love a film, period. But in terms of comic book and getting to the genre and everything, my oldest memory was me and my dad on Saturday mornings on WB watching Justice League Unlimited, right? When that theme
Yeah.
song came up, and you had The Rock, the guitar and everything playing, and that
Yeah.
gave me a sense of my childhood every time I saw it. To a point now, these characters live within me now, and I'm getting older, and then eventually, I just got married, and soon I
Yeah.
have kids. I want to pass down to my children, like saying the joy that I had, as you can
Yeah.
see, So it's like,
Yeah.
but my point is this: is that when it comes to the superhero fatigue, there's a fatigue of being mediocre. No longer
Yeah.
can we just throw an Avengers movie out there and call it a good day. Because screw all of them at this point. Because listen, it's not about what Marvel is doing; it's about us as the fans reacting. Because at this point, what they're telling, nobody doesn't care about the Black Captain America. Nobody cares about Captain Marvel, and no one cares
Mhm.
about Miss Marvel, even though Miss Marvel is one of the best shows that they actually put out in a while. But the problem was that show got released like this movie got released in the most worst time as possible, because last year Miss Marvel came out in the exact same time as Blue Beetle. Remember, y'all. And then this show came out between 3 different shows. It came between The Boys season 3. It came an Obi-Wan, a highly anticipated Star Wars show,
Yes.
and it came in the second half of Stranger Things 4. That
Yeah.
show got obliterated. Nobody was watching
Yeah.
it. I watched it, obviously,
Exactly.
continuity wise.
Yeah.
But yes, no, because listen, it's because Miss Marvel and this movie is basically showing you no representation matters. And when you have
Yes.
great characters and writing backing behind it, then it's like all about representation, message and everything like that, and it must be more inclusive. As a property, that's gonna happen just organically. But if you don't have the
Yeah.
foundation of just good writing these characters, all that's gonna go out the window. And that's been my
Yeah.
frustration, is that they want to skip you want to skip all this stuff and just try to go, well, we love Batman's been working for the last 25 years, so we got to make everyone
Mhm.
Batman. No,
Yeah.
Batman is Batman for a reason, and because of the fact he is the way he is, when he's interacting with different characters, it even highlights it more, that makes it so great that no one else is like Batman. He's the only one.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I'm just saying, I had good conversation with shout out to Keeks in the chat here, and him and um was it Vanessa back in Comic Con, because I had a great conversation. These are DC lovers. Make sure you put your link to your channel and your platform, and it's in the chat. I want to make sure I want to shout you guys out. I had a really good conversation. These are DC lovers, and one thing that we expressed is that we're losing that heart of the DC universe, and hopefully this is a fresh start that we can have to build off of and everything moving forward, because again, like, I want to see everyone win. I want to see everybody win. Right? I don't want to
Yeah.
see just have mediocre comic book movies and shows, and when we focus on quantity over quality, then it's like the art form is missing. But then here we have one of the best superhero content we got this year, aside from Spider-Verse and Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's all just a brush under the rug over the BS, of that's going on with the writer's strike, and also with
Yeah.
just the current state of DC now, where it's like, well, James Gunn right now, this Aquaman 2, all of it's going to be put under the same rug of, well, we don't care until Superman Legacy, then we'll see what's we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's just my thing. I just want the DC universe to be good again, but also it takes
Yeah.
also fan base for us to, like, when we have to go support this movie. Because shout out to National, I think it was Movie Theater Day that's coming this weekend.
Yeah.
You all movie tickets are about $4. Go see Blue Beetle. You can't pay $15. I think you can afford 4. So
Yeah.
so yeah, please go and support this movie in some form or fashion. And yeah, and I want to shout out to director, shout out to Joe Maraduena in this, shout out to George Lopez. These people, like, this was a really good
Yes.
film. And just again, as someone who's not from the Latino community, this, what I'm saying, gave me the heart of DC that I feel like I haven't seen in a while, and what I'm
Yeah.
really been craving for when I'm watching animated properties and stuff. But that's no here or there. But yeah, guys, I just want to thank you all for coming to watching this show. I want to give a big shout out to Mike Entertainment. This guy's been killing it on
Thank you.
TikTok, killing it on Instagram and everything. Over 1 million folks been viewing his stuff on Instagram and everything. Make sure you guys go subscribe to him. And I'll make sure to give you your shout out, Mike. second. And where people can find you.
Oh yeah, so I'm on YouTube at Mike Entertainment. On my Instagram, it's the Real Mike Entertainment. On my TikTok, it's at the Real Mike Entertainment, and on my X, I don't know, it's at the Real EENT1. So that's where you can find me there. And then I'm not on anything else, but yeah, so that's where you can find me. And also, I am streaming. It's an Ahsoka watch party. Yeah, I'm doing that tomorrow at 8:30. So make sure you guys on my YouTube join up, because Star Wars is back after like the Mandalorian 3. That was a bit, not it. It was all right, but
Be
now
honest.
finally we got a freaking Star Wars Rebels 5. Basically. So finally, it's back. Star Wars is back. So we are about to celebrate it in the best way possible. So come on and join.
Yeah, I put a link into his channel in the description box below. I know this won't be the last time you see him on his channel, and we'll be working on stuff in the future and stuff like that. But one thing I was just saying to you, man, just like you just remind me of myself, just just in terms of when you were like 15, when I was 15, everything, like just that passion for film, and now I'm a movie critic. I'm seeing press screenings, interviewing people. I actually saw the first episodes of Ahsoka on Saturday. You ain't ready, bro. You're not ready.
Really? Really?
Yeah. So Star Wars is back, y'all. But anyway, yeah, man, I just love, man, just your perspective on film and everything, and mainly I look at to you in terms of like so how you've been growing, because I just started my TikTok and stuff, and I'm still learning the kinks and all that and everything, because the part I'm a movie critic, but then I'm trying to also on my side be the movie influencer and stuff. But anyway, I can help you with just a call away and stuff, knowing that you're on the East Coast as well. So y'all, and make sure you guys go subscribe to Jet Mike 7 on YouTube, Instagram. I do have a Twitter. I'm still trying to build that out and everything. I don't like Twitter, but I'm not the only one at this point. But and also on TikTok as well. Make sure you guys hit subscribe and comment, like, and share, and make sure you subscribe to all the content creators in this chat that showed up. Shout out to Marcus, shout out to Ken, shout out to Multiverse of Color, and I think who else? Shout out to Big Gold Belt Media. Shout out to them as well. Another movie critic platform as well. And shout out to my man Dusto. He's opened up his new channel yesterday. Make sure you go subscribe to him. Shout out to my wife, Miss Lady Sowell. Hope you're doing good. Thank you. Dinner was really good, by the way. Thank you. But yeah, y'all, and also to the DC fans, the movie fans, period. Hope you guys subscribe to this channel. We know we celebrate all types of films and everything like that. And make sure we'll see you guys next time. And until now, I'm gonna play the video right here. So next time, peace. We are out.
Is there anything you want the fans to know, or any last thing you want to say to them before we get to see this series tonight?
This is where the fun begins.
Hold on. Okay.